Hello, everyone, and welcome back for round two of our F124 My Team at the Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit. We're gonna go ahead and jump into activities. Like I said, we're mainly going to be focused on improving the team and not our second driver, so the sponsor event to get us some more acclaim will be big. Now we're going to jump into the R&D. We have a lot that we need to focus on. I think we're going to go ahead and add this little engine upgrade right here, so we can go ahead and unlock more upgrades for the future of our engine development. Yeah, as you can see, everything's pretty expensive, but we do have both of our teammates. We have our teammates' points combined with ours as well, unlike our driver career mode. So, yeah, I think that is going to conclude our R&D, and now we're going to hop into practice. Alright, here we are starting our tire management practice program on the hards. First lap of the race weekend, just want to keep it nice and tidy, get a feel for the car. I personally love the Jeddah Corniche. This track is just so much fun. It flows so well, and you're always on the edge of your seat. Oh, as you're right next to the wall, as that's not going to help the tires much. As we still are up on the Delta by a few tenths, we invalidate. So we are going to have to go ahead and do one more lap. I don't think we're going to get the purple range, though. As we do get a green score, though,
and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done.
As my game kind of froze, though. That was weird. First lap on the mediums, and I can already tell they have way more grip than the hards. Oh, I say that. And I almost lost the rear end there. Definitely jinxing myself. Just need a clean and tidy lap here, and we should be on our way to second purple score of the weekend. Our race pace is looking super promising here. 1.2 seconds up on the Delta again. We've comfortably smashed the Delta all 3 laps. Just don't want to make a mistake in this last corner. This is looking like we're gonna have a strong weekend here. Maybe challenge for some points if everything can go our way. I mean, if at least if the race pace indicators are any, at least if the race pace strategy is any indicator, as we just nudged the wall there. And we get our second purple score of the weekend. Now into our qualifying practice program. We will get a slipstream off of Charles Leclerc here. Oh, there was a ton of dirty air there, though. We are going to get held up most likely here by Charles. So I don't know if he's in a qualifying practice program as well. We are 1.1 seconds up on the Delta here. Got a massive tow by Charles Leclerc through all the straights, honestly. So we're going to dive to the inside of him here into the final corner. Get the throttle planted. A little bit on the throttle too fast there. 1 second up on the Delta.
Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of value.
Welcome to the Jeddah Corniche, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. But let's see who will be fastest of them all. We're about to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's qualifying.
With the pace we've showed this weekend so far, I do feel pretty confident we can make it through to Q2, but we still got to make sure we nail the lap. So honestly, that was a pretty decent 1 and 2. Make sure we don't invalidate here or clip the inside wall as, oh, the car ran a little wide there. Tires weren't gripping up quite like they usually do. Oh, we invalidate. That is not what we needed. We're still going to go ahead and complete the lap for a Delta, though. Attempt number 3 at putting down a good qualifying lap, and this one has to count. So we're already down to 10th on our best lap, but I know there's time to be found in other sections. I know 1 and 2 is really good on that lap. Beautiful. We're already up 2.5 tenths. Just gotta keep building on this momentum. Slowly gaining a little bit of speed in each corner. Open the DRS. We're still only a 10.5 up. We gotta be committed here. 2 committed. Oh, and it cost us a lot. Thank God we didn't completely destroy the lap though, as it still will hold up for a decent time. Nice. We had a good final corner. Open the DRS. What's it going to be across the line? A 130.8 and it's P12. And that will probably be good enough to see us through into Q2. Ended up P13 on the leaderboard, but we did manage to make our way into Q2, so that's good. Yeah, Frederick Vesti is P21. He at least outqualified Logan Sargent, so we will take that. Here we go. It's pretty much a one-shot quali here because we only had 1 new set of tires.
And that's just 30 seconds left in the session.
I did go ahead and throw down a banker on used tires, so I do have some sort of reference. We're gonna have to nail this lap here if we're gonna want to make Q3. I'm just happy we made Q2 for the first time as an organization and as a driver, as we're already half a second up on the Delta.
Okay, I'm afraid we've been pushed down to P16.
We need to gain about a second on the Delta if we're going to want to make it through to Q3. As we're up 8 tenths, it's definitely possible. We're 5 tenths up on Ricardo. I think we're going to make Q3 here for the first time. Ford's first Q3. So we gain a ton of time in the last corner. We open the DRS for the final time at Q2. What's it going to be across the line? A 30.1, and we're P9 into Q3 for the first time. Let's go. Here we go. We need to lay it all on the line. At least the worst position we can get is 10th, so I do take solace in that, but need to pick up at least 1.2 seconds on this Delta. As these first few corners have been pretty solid, honestly. Oh, and we invalidate. And we're starting P10 on the grid.
With qualifying wrapped up now, we have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Orlando Norris gets his first pole of the year. And the 2 McLarens are split by Max Verstappen and a Red Bull. And the 2 Ferraris down in 5th and 6th. Definitely does not look to be a strong track for them. As now we're going to head on into the Grand Prix and hopefully look to capitalize on this strong grid position.
So here we are then, welcoming you today to one of the jewels of the Arab world, Jeddah. One of the biggest cities in Saudi Arabia, second only to Riyadh, gateway to Mecca, and one of the biggest ports in the region. And now, host to the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Russell, Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Thomas, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Ricciardo, Gasly, Ocon, Joe, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Hamilton, Magnussen, Albon, Vesti, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me, a man, well, what more can I say? But he's a legend, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Well, here we are on the grids in the streets of the Jeddah Corniche. We need to look to capitalize off our P9 starting position. We did gain one extra spot because Lewis Hamilton took a grid penalty for some reason. As for our strategy, we are going to go ahead and start on the mediums and then swap to the hards on lap 11. Nothing too crazy, just basic one-stop strategy. As now we're going to hop into the formation lap and then go ahead and get the race start.
The formation lap gets underway here in Saudi Arabia, and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure their car's ready for the battle once the lights go out.
Valtteri Bottas is the only driver to take the risk and start on the softs. Not quite sure how that's going to work out for him, but we'll just have to wait and see.
So as all the cars reform the grid, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
I feel very, very confident in our pace this race weekend. We've shown good pace in practice and qualifying throughout the whole weekend, honestly. So the Ford EcoBoost Hybrid has been handling well. We just have to make sure to capitalize on the performance we've had this weekend. As Logan Sargent heads up the rear of the field. I'm sure that'll be a common theme as the year develops. As now we are under those 5 red lights, we need to make sure we get a good launch on these medium tires. As it's lights out and away we go. As the V-Carb of Yuki Tsunoda gets a terrible launch off the line, but Fernando Alonso just sends it to our inside as we look on the inside of Carlos Sainz here for P8. Gonna use our battery here, send it around the outside. We brake super late and we hang it around the outside of the Spaniard there. As now we just got to try to stay in the DRS of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. As the Dutchman's all the way down to P5 after those first few corners. Definitely not the start he would have wanted from P2 on the grid. Carlos Sainz is going to blow right past us. The top speed on that Ferrari is something different. We just do not have that type of straight line speed to keep up.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Oh, as Carlos Sainz locks up and goes wide. And we just barely avoid running into the back of the Spaniard there. Staying in the DRS range of Sainz is going to be critical here.
Look out for a bit of
Because if we
understeer when
lose-
trailing the car ahead. They're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to...
Lando Norris is going to look to get a good launch off the line here and lead the grid away. As Max Verstappen catches the anti-stall there, loses a ton of positions off the line, and Lando Norris is going to look to run away with it. And it's a McLaren 1-2 to start the race here in Saudi Arabia.
air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past.
If we lose the DRS of the Spaniard, we'll be just easy pickings for Fernando Alonso behind us, who's already broken Ricciardo's DRS here just after lap 1. So that should allow us to go ahead and gap the rest of the field, as long as we can stay in Sainz's DRS. We've now broke Alonso's DRS, which is pretty crazy. Or we're just about to. We did have a second gap on him there for a second. As now it's 1.1 seconds, and I don't think he got the DRS there. So you space it out to 1.3 seconds. I'm not sure if Alonso has an issue or something all of a sudden. He's dropped off the pace considerably, and Ricciardo's closed back in just a 2/10 behind him. And we've opened over a 2-second gap on him. I think me and Carlos are catching the guys ahead too. So we should be able to join this train soon enough. And then we can kind of just tuck in behind and maybe look to make some passes in the second stint, I would think. We now have quite a big buffer to P9. So P8 should be secured already early in this Grand Prix, as long as we don't make any huge blunders.
Gap to your teammate behind, 9.8 seconds.
As the car this week in Jeddah just feels so much better. The car did not like Bahrain. Definitely does not like the slow speed sections. It was just very twitchy in those. The high speed tracks like Jeddah, where you just have a high
We've got a
minimum
lot
speed,
of spare energy. Okay to use your overtake button.
where you have a high minimum speed, the car seems to handle a lot better. As 3 wide into turn 1, the 2 Red Bulls and George Russell make contact there, as George Russell comes out the worst there, and Max Verstappen is now up to 3rd place. But I am wondering if anyone got damaged from that little scuffle there, because I saw bits of carbon fiber flying. Can we make a move here on Carlos Sainz? We're going to use all our battery. Grab the slipstream. Go to the outside. Brake late. Oh, as they're 3 wide ahead of us again. This time it's Verstappen, Russell, and Leclerc as we bang wheels with Carlos Sainz there. Oh, as they're banging wheels ahead of us. We just managed to keep Carlos Sainz at bay, and we make the move stick around the outside of the Spaniard. I was very worried about running into the guys ahead of us, but we made the move stick. I'm happy. Let's go. Up to P7. Oh my god, look at the run Carlos is getting, as we're going to have to use our battery to go defensive. Oh! And because of that, we have to dive to the inside of George Russell because he just braked so
Good
late.
job.
That was not a planned pass, but we had to do it so we didn't get passed by Carlos there. As Charles Leclerc is going to go to the outside of Max Verstappen here. Can he make it stick on the Dutchman, as Max Verstappen's going to get the better drive out of turn 2 there and hold him off. Now we just got to get our battery back into a decent window and just stay in their DRS here. Oh, as we Tony Hawk it. Oh, and ride the curb. That was not what we needed. As we're now just out of Charles's DRS. Oh! And we get a major slide because the curb. Oh my gosh. Now we're definitely out of Charles's DRSs. The two guys behind us are going to get an absolutely insane run on us. We're just sitting ducks at this point. No battery to defend. Yep, there's nothing we can do. They're both going to get by. As just the small mistakes keep costing us.
We're approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
Ricardo and Stroll, I think, are DRS swapping. They've closed the gap down to 3.5 seconds. As Sainz and Russell being side by side is exactly what I don't want to see. I want them to pull us back up to the guys ahead. Carlos Sainz gets blocked a little bit there, but now he's going to go to the outside here of George Russell. The question is going to be is who got the DRS for the straightaway here? That's who will win this battle. As Carlos Sainz got the DRS, he's going to look to go by the young Brit. As I think we're going to do the same thing with the DRS and the slipstream. We're going to hang it on the outside of George Russell here.
Okay, we've got a full
as safety car is out.
Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty. Slow down, maintain positive delta.
As we just managed to stay ahead of Russell there for the safety car. This safety car is going to be really, really big for Vesti and anyone who got to pit right away before the safety car, like right when the safety car came out. Whew, that was close to a speeding penalty. I know Vesti got to pit right away, so he may come out even ahead of us. That's going to be a big jump for him. Anyone who got to pit already is at a huge advantage. Hopefully we don't get held by anyone behind us.
Right, let's go. Come on. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like
Nice,
a nice
we did
stop
it.
time. We're happy with that one. Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Came out P6 actually. So we jumped Russell. Or we jumped Sainz. Me and Russell jumped Sainz. That's crazy. I think he might have still been slightly held up by Leclerc. But I mean, they had a pretty big gap. So I'm not too sure about that one. Safety cars in this lap. We got to make sure we get a good jump here. I just want to stay in Verstappen's DRS. 8 points would be massive. I'm not even going to try to challenge for 5th at this point unless we get something handed to us. I don't want to make any ill-timed, stupid mistakes. Oh, you know what? We may try to jump Verstappen
Keep managing
here.
your tyres. Manage your tyres.
Oh, no, he used his battery and got such a challenge back right there. And we did nudge the wall there, so we already have 13% on our front right. Oh my gosh, that's the last thing we needed at the start of this stint. As our rear tire is already up to temp, but we're out of battery trying to keep up with the cars ahead of us. The hard tires, we are just off pace. So I'm going to brake and let them go because I'm not trying to get murdered. I thought they were going to take it 3 wide right there. Russell seems quite slow. I think he may have some damage still from that 3 wide battle he had with Verstappen earlier. As Sainz going to look to go by him here. But Russell's going to power back on the inside. It's all going to come down to who got the DRS, as Carlos Sainz did. And he makes his way by the Brit there. Up to P6 goes the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Oh, and we nudged the inside wall again there. I'm sure that can't be good for our tire wears. We're at 20% now. We've now pulled over a second gap to Ricardo. Stroll's going to probably look to go by him. As he does, go to the outside of him this time. I'm sure the Aston Martin will probably close the gap to us. As he is a car that can definitely keep up with the guys ahead of us. That's if he can make his way by
Okay, so we're
Daniel
leading our
Ricciardo.
teammate by 10.4 seconds.
And somehow Pierre Gasly came on the top of all that battling. He's got 2 positions in one straight right there. And that also held them up massively, as now we have almost a 3-second gap to him. That's beautiful for us, a nice little buffer. As we just want to keep them to keep battling as the Grand Prix goes on. George Russell looks to be losing touch with the guys ahead. Definitely having some sort of issue. As that'll help us. Once he loses the DRS, we can ride behind him to the last couple laps, and then we can just blow by him with DRS and overtake. Because without DRS, Russell is just a sitting duck at this point. They're battling hard ahead of us, though. It may allow us to close back in.
Okay, clear.
As yellow flags. Yellow flags are out. Wonder what that is. Lance Stroll, leading the DRS train, pulls to the side as one of his components go. Not what Aston Martin wanted to see this weekend, as Fernando Alonso is struggling as well. Lance Stroll's out of the session. Wow. So, yeah, we no longer have to worry about the hard-charging Aston Martins, as Fernando Alonso had an issue earlier in the Grand Prix, and now Lance Stroll is having a mechanical issue. Yeah, a horrible weekend for Aston Martin. We made it by George Russell, and now the question is, can we challenge without that, as Russell's just going to blow right by us again. I made it easier for him so we didn't lose any time. We can just do a little DRS swap there. Help each of our top speed to hopefully run these guys ahead down. Looks like he's back in their DRS, as he definitely is. Let's go. Now we're back in the train, and maybe we can work our way back up to P6 before this Grand Prix is over. Now that Russell's in the DRS train, it is impossible to close up to the back of him. We just don't have the top speed to get anywhere near close enough. It's looking like P8 may be where we're going to be stuck. If they start battling real hard ahead of us and Constantine are up, then we may have a chance. We've actually managed to get semi-close to Russell here. Break late, he covers us off, goes defensive. We used all our battery and brake as late as possible to try to make it past Russell, and we make it stick into turn 1. Now we just need to charge up our battery, and maybe before the race is over we can make an attempt on Perez as well. I think we have enough of a gap on Russell where he won't be able to challenge us, at least this straightaway. As they're side by side ahead of us, Piastri and Leclerc battling it out for, I believe that's P3. That'll definitely hold everyone ahead of us up and maybe allow us to go on the offensive on Perez. Oh, what a move by us. As we get great traction off the corner
Good
there.
job.
And that wasn't
Nice
even
overtake.
planned by me. That was just absolute brilliance. What contrasting weekends. Last week we were struggling so hard. Couldn't even get points. This week we're battling for a top 5 position. Oh, I just can't believe it. Our pace is so strong this weekend. And Sainz is gonna go to the outside here of Piastri. And then the outside of his teammate as well. I don't know if he'll be able to make it stick on Leclerc as we bump into the rear diffuser there of Oscar Piastri. Didn't quite mean to make contact with him, but as he's gonna squeeze us as much as he can in the outside. We're gonna brake late, hang it around his outside. Now we have the inside line. Get the power down, use some battery, and we make it by the young Australian of Oscar Piastri, and we are now up to P5. Oh, Piastri's going to go on the offensive here. We're going to use some battery to hold him off. And we're just able to as Carlos Sainz goes around his teammate Charles Leclerc there. But I really am wondering if that's a strategic move by Charles to let him have the spot.
The final lap of the race. Final lap.
So he can make the final move on this lap. I think the Monegasque driver wants to stay right on the rear diffuser of Sainz, and he'll just make the move with 1 corner to go.
Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about.
Yeah, at this point, Mark, we're ignoring any bad sensors. 1 lap to go, not even half a lap to go. We just got to bring it home here. Challenge these 2 Ferraris. I'm not sure if we'll have the top speed to make anything happen. I need to save some overtake for the final straight. As Charles Leclerc is going to make his move on the outside, and Oscar Piastri is going to go to the outside of us. We got to give the Australian space. Oh, as we get some oversteer as Lando Norris wins here in Jeddah. Not Australia, as we... Oh my, we got Carlos Sainz and we get P4. Oh, let's go. And we get driver of the day. Our best finish for Ford so far. I don't know if we're going to top that one this year.
Flag, and our winner has landoed. It's Lando Norris for victory.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
Lando Norris gets his inaugural win in just the 2nd race of the season. I'm sure him and McLaren are thrilled, as this just shows they're going to be battling Max all year long.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
Lando, Max, and Charles on the podium. That is the future of the F1 grid right there. As McLaren showing why they're Red Bull's #1 contender.
Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Well, there you have it. What a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I mean, I expected points this weekend because of our pace, but P4, I mean, that's just way beyond my wildest dreams. As 12 points for us is going to be absolutely massive in the constructors standings. That does jump us up to P7 in the drivers, not too worried about the drivers this year. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we're not going to be challenging for anything too crazy. The constructors, though, that sends us all the way up to 4th position. Yeah, I mean, we know Mercedes and Aston Martin are going to definitely make it by us at some point throughout the year just because of their sheer consistency. But if we can battle for maybe P6, P7, and get ahead of Alpine, I mean, these weekends like this are just going to be massive. If we can have a few big race weekends, something that the other teams down at the bottom struggle with, and we can really capitalize on our strong tracks, then, yeah, we may be able to beat them out by a considerable margin just because, you know, the few really good quality races we actually end up getting. So, yeah, and then Red Bull and McLaren are tied for first. And we're going to see how that all develops as we head on into the Australian Grand Prix next week, another track that I'm strong at. So thank you to everyone who watched the video. Please like and subscribe, and you guys have a great day.